Hello and welcome everyone to Geek of All Trades, episode 58, New Beginnings. I'm Greg Barlow.
And I'm Victorious. And you join us with no guest. What is this?
Oh no, where's the guest?
It's new time. We will have to be enough guests for everyone.
Do you know who our guest is this time, Doe? Our guest is the Twitch audience.
Ooh, it's true. If anyone is out there yet, we'll see.
Yeah.
They'll come. You put it out there, they will come, right? That's Field of Dreams.
Well, we can consider this an open invitation for people to join us in our Twitch audience for the future, because this is our new format home / creation space.
Yeah, like initial release space for future extracting and chopping up and stuff. We say chopping up, but it's really just going to be like putting out the audio.
So for those who are worried, do not worry. We are still going to release our podcast as usual on our usual avenues. So you'll still be able to catch it there if you're not a Twitch fan. But for those who prefer the live experience, we are here. And we will be broadcasting every few weeks or so. Have we decided?
Every fortnight, I think it was.
Every fortnight.
It might come out every week. We don't know. We'll have to see how many people buy in, etc. So let us know as well with that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Let us know if you'd like to see us more frequently, and we'll get on that. We're also encouraging people to come in live and comment, etc. We won't be reading out any of the chats while we're in it, but at the end we'll go through things and see if there's anything we didn't get to that you can kind of get to.
We'll be focused in our podcast zone, so we'll be able to get to you during the show. But after the show, before we wrap up, we'll maybe take a quick glance and see if there's anything burning questions that need to be answered.
Yeah. Hopefully shouldn't be too many. If they're burning, then oh dear.
Oh dear, yes, yeah. Put that out. Stop, drop, and roll. Right. Okay. So also, just to add, our content is going to adjust slightly, being that we are now a live show. We're not going to be as long as we used to be, but we think it'll be for the better.
So as much as like COVID and stuff like there, it's just so long to get through to just a podcast or anything at the moment. But yeah, an hour-ish and a little bit more maybe, but new sections, cut down. No more of a what you're doing and a bit more of a main section inclusive of. So don't expect guests anytime too soon, but hey, you never know.
Yeah, we're not closing the door on guests, but for now, we're staying isolated in both the digital and physical sense.
Gosh,
as
super lockdown.
So yes. So kicking us off today, I think we're going to go into our first section, which is a wild news headline.
It's true. And stay tuned. I'll work something out in the future for getting us into it.
Yeah. So we're working on our format on Twitch. So we're not playing the theme this time.
Yeah, it'll come.
Right.
It's so difficult. You have to find soundboards, or you have to change scenes and all sorts. It's complicated enough. I've already had done so much on trying to work out HTML stuff and getting all those scenes together.
I'm sure there's a widget for it or something.
There must be.
We'll figure it out. Play the theme in your head right now. We'll give you a few seconds.
Well, I don't know which. You can pick your gen. Let us know afterwards which gen you picked for it.
That's true. Yeah. Which Pokemon theme first came to mind when we said play the theme in your head? Maybe it'll tell you something. But to start our wild news headline today, what we're going to do is we're going to stick with the Pokemon theme. I mean, the non-IP infringing monster
pocket animals. Yeah. It's so distinct from Digimon.
Yeah, but we're gonna go town by town this time. So this episode, you start in what would be Pallet Town, but we have to be non-IP infringing, so it'll be Crate Holding Town. I don't know what's the synonym.
Well, I mean, also pallet, just like wet, like a wet pallet for like we would get for your models and stuff there.
What's an Easel? Easel Town.
Yeah, Easel Town. Yeah.
So you start in Easel Town and wake up in your bed. Oh boy, you've just become a news headline trainer.
Way.
And for the first headline, also headlines wise, I'm going to shift them because they used to be completely wacky headlines, right?
Yeah.
Scour the internet looking for the wackiest of headlines. But this time, because of the slight shift in show, we're going to go sort of half whack, interesting, but sort of not as insane.
I mean, that works. That works.
More current affairs, less insanity. But to start off,
that's how I learned about the crab. Like switches first.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. There's still going to be useful facts. But there'll also be little nuggets in there of interesting headlines that we came across in the last 2 weeks.
Nice.
So the first one, your parent. I don't know if we're going to make it. It can't be a mother or father.
It's always a mother.
The
father's never there.
So your aunt comes upstairs and tells you, "You won't believe this. Please tell me your name." And you put your name in. Bloop, 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 bloop. But Microsoft has just signed a $22 billion contract with the American Army to incorporate the HoloLens into the Army's equipment.
I saw that a while back, actually. That's an interesting one, because I mean the HoloLens, as far as like AR stuff, it's very cool. I got to play with one when I was at my previous work, and they're a lot of fun. Like it takes some getting used to how they do their gestures. But I mean, like seeing the demos and stuff, and like from the guys like going to like E3 and playing around with like going through like the warehouses to see like the Halo stuff or etc. I was like, kind of cool actually. So be interesting to see. And I mean, current gen, like millennials etc. in the army, they'll probably take to it pretty quickly. You would assume.
Immediately, like, oh yeah, I know how to use one of these.
So what's the button for G to mark the enemy? Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Son, you're still in the face cam. It doesn't matter, bonus mission.
Yeah. What's this objective that's just come up here? Be interesting to see what's there, because I mean, like at the moment, things like the HoloLens and etc. It's still you can kind of tell and differentiate between everything. But I mean, like it's not too far from that Black Mirror episode, with the. Those military people who were like completely zoned to and could see like, oh, these like civilian refugees are like horrible, insurgents, etc. So yeah, and also that quite a bit of money, but still not a lot considering the US's budget.
Yeah, I was about to say in the scope of the military budget for the US Army, it's actually not that much.
It's not like that's like the 8 trillion across this current presidency. So you think about that 22 billion pocket change for them.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they sort of do decide to use it for, if they want to incorporate target identification or whatever, or if they're going to pair it with an AI assistant that can process it. Yeah, Cortana.
Actual Cortana in there. Yeah.
Actual Cortana. I guess I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what our whole was. So,
Spartan. Oh, I hope they call it a Spartan helmet when they eventually.
Well, I mean, it's going to be the general guys. So were they what were they called again? There was that whole Nathan Fillion was still one.
Yeah, they're basic infantry guys. Yeah. I'm not actually that versed on Halo, to be frank.
I am of the first game, and then just multiplayer for the rest. So.
Yeah, pretty much my entire Halo experience is just the multiplayer version of it.
Yeah. What are they called? It's gonna bug me.
I'm sure we'll figure it out. And you're gonna in the middle of another section, you're gonna be like,
that was it, damn it, yeah.
But yeah, okay. So you get out of your bed, and your aunt gives you this new thing to put on to catch news headlines.
News headlines, yeah.
Yeah, because this is the new game you're playing. You go downstairs, and where do you want to go first? Do you want to head to the professor's lab?
Yeah, let's go to Professor. What's a good tree? Professor. No, they've had acacia, haven't they?
Local tree. So we'll go Professor Jacaranda.
Yeah. Oh no, they haven't had. Professor Jacaranda sounds great.
So you go to Professor Jacaranda's lab, and he's like, my old friend. Insert name here. You're just in time.
Are you a boy or a girl?
Stepson whose name is insert stepson's name here, has just left, and I gave him this amazing headline. Now, please go and pick a headline yourself. And he points to the table over there. And yeah, you've got to pick one of three headlines. Which one?
Ooh.
1, 2, or 3?
Oh, which one's usually the fire type? It's like the one in the first position.
Well, I can tell you one is a dragon type, one's a thunder
Ooh.
type, and one is a girl type.
Let's go for the dragon type.
Okay, and the headline cube opens, and out pops the headline. The Dragon Prince board game has been announced and will be released this year.
Yeah. What are they basing it off of, though?
So it's being made by Brotherwise Games, who did the same games as Boss Monster and Call to Adventure.
Okay, cool.
And it's based entirely off the show's heroes and villains. So
okay, so
characters in the actual show, not just generic like people in the universe.
Well, I mean, like the role-playing game's been announced as well. So
yeah, but the role-playing game's been around for a little bit longer. I think it's actually been released already.
I don't think it has because there's the Atla one first, and then yeah, but yeah.
So it's interesting.
The Boss Monster guy, so like I mean, like he expects like more like a card gamey one, like worker placement or something like that.
Yeah, they haven't really been clear as to what sort of genre of game they're going for, but I get the impression it's going to be, because they've mentioned that it's going to involve the heroes and the villains, right?
Yeah.
So it might be like almost like a race around the board kind of style game, but that's very old.
Yeah. Could be like just like a battler sort of like thing as well. People playing different factions and then kind of having to. Could be a deck builder. I could see a deck builder.
Yes, actually, a deck builder could be very, very likely with like everyone's abilities and stuff. And
pick a hero, pick a hero is like sort of thing. Mash the deck together, do the stuff.
Yeah, and it could even maybe like revolve around like protecting / trying to capture
the dragon prince. Yeah. You could basically also just have that initial war between like the humans and like everybody else.
Yeah, the humans and everyone.
Yeah.
Because the humans are the worst.
They can't be.
Yeah, because apparently the 4th season of Dragon Prince has been delayed because of the pandemic. Which is a bit sad.
Unexpected. Yeah, it's been interesting because I mean, like a whole bunch of shows would like just release their trailers. Like, did you see the Discovery trailer released today?
Oh no, I did not.
Yeah. It looks kind of interesting. Like their future uniforms are interesting.
Okay, so they're different from the ones they were wearing at the end of.
Yeah. Well, like kind of, because like they're now wearing it like with all the colors sort of like things. It's like the red, the yellow, the etc. But it's across the entire suit. So
okay,
it actually looks quite cool.
Surprised they're doing another season of Discovery. I got the weird impression that they were like done.
No. Yeah, they were done with the initial setup arc. That was what they said. They were like, cool, we're done. We've established that it's now going forward going to be in this timeline, and we're going to go into this new world of like thing there. But I mean, like, there's still all the stuff that they kind of like have to go back on and kind of be like, okay, well, what happened to the Federation after the burn? We won't say more than that because people probably haven't seen more than that of like the last season, possibly.
That's true.
Well, they should have. If they're announcing the 4th season, there's no reason for us to like not spoil the 3rd.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, go give it a watch. It's good. I wouldn't call it my favorite Star Trek series, but it's a good sci-fi show, I guess.
It is. Like, to me, like, I don't know, the first season was just Mass Effect in a Star Trek kind of veneer. The second season started getting back into like being proper, and like the 3rd season had a lot of episodes. I think for me, it was the time travel episode in the 1st season. That was like a very much like, yes, this is a Star Trek episode, and then all the alternate dimension, the Dark Universe sort of stuff in there was
that was quite nice. So yeah, check it out. It's a good show. So you've grabbed your trusty Dragon Prince board game.
Hooray!
I guess when you throw it, like the Dragon Prince comes out, or you can pick a character. Actually, who's your favorite character?
No, you know what it is. It's that box that the kid has.
Oh,
the elements on the other side. That's what it is.
Yeah, okay. It's that like elemental cube or whatever it is.
Yeah. That's how the human will make magic.
There we go. So it actually lets you use magic. This is
Mm.
turning into a practical game. So you head out from Professor Jacaranda's lab, and he's like, "Congratulations! You must now be exiled from the town and brave the wilds." But thankfully, you've got your trusty Cortana plugin and your elemental cube, and you head out into the wilds. And as you take one step into the bush, you transition, and this wild headline just jumps out at you, and that's they are going to do a live action Powerpuff Girls adaptation, and that they've just announced the cast for the adaptation and the basic premise of the storyline.
Yeah, the story is like interesting, let's say, because it's very CW. It's very CW.
Yeah. It sounds like super angst to me.
It does. I mean, yeah. I mean, because like all the characters, it's interesting. I like how they've framed Bubbles in the new one, because it's the whole thing that she misses being in the limelight, is now trying to get the band back together for it, and I'm interested to see because I always liked Blossom, so like seeing her like sort of character arc after everything and being like yeah, PTSD, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be a interesting one. And then Buttercup as well, just being like also just like gotten into too many fights, it's just over it. But I don't know, like to me, my problem with it is like because they're CWing it, I just don't know what they're going to do with the villains. Like you can't expect Mojo Jojo to be a monkey with their brain off their head, sort of thing.
A bad CG monkey with a bad CG brain.
Yeah, like the Gangrene Gang. Okay, sure, green goons, that's fine. But like Fuzzy Lumpkins, like him, how do you do him?
The vibe I'm getting from it is that they might not even have like super villains. They might just have like everyday villains.
Yeah, like again, CW
life villains. The bank manager.
Oh no, they're going to foreclose your business. You better get back to fighting crime. Yeah.
But yeah, so they've announced Donald Faison as Professor Utonium, which is Turk from Scrubs.
Oh, okay.
Which is an interesting choice. I'd never imagined him as a Professor Utonium, but
no,
like maybe he can pull it off. I mean, he's a pretty good actor.
Yeah.
We'll see. And then did you ever watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I did, yes. Yeah.
So I don't actually know which characters these were in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I only watched the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or so.
Like most people did.
But there's Chloe Bennett and Dove Cameron from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are Blossom and Buttercup.
Yes.
And then Bubbles is someone... Oh, no, sorry, I lie. I got that backwards. So it's Blossom and Bubbles are the two Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. girls.
Okay, yeah.
And then Buttercup is Yana Perrault from Broadway's Jagged Little Pill, which I've never heard of either.
Okay. Well, I mean, if it's a Broadway show, I assume it's a Alanis Morissette base. But, yeah.
But yeah, they look appropriately, like right hair colors and stuff.
I mean, they can do that sort of like thing within there. I always imagined like Lisa Foyles as Blossom, like as a grown-up sort of like thing in there. But I mean, she comes away from the acting sort of like stuff. So yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think it'll be an interesting one to see. Again, like CW shows are either like good or just really awful until they become okay, but it's sort of like they hit a negative overflow and become good because they're so bad.
Yeah, so bad you have to just keep watching to find out.
Yeah,
it's like watching a train wreck in emotion. But yeah, okay, we've got that to look forward to eventually in the future. So do you want to catch this?
Go Spice Cube.
Yeah. Yeah, but do you want to catch it or just use it for XP? Do you want to level up your?
Oh no, we're definitely catching it.
Okay.
Cool. We're going to be watching that
later. And then as you sort of step out of the grass again, your rival, insert rival name here. Steps out from behind a tree and he's like, ha, now that I know your Dragon Cube's powers, I can face you myself and beat you. And they they throw out their headline, which is another media-related one, because apparently it was media-related week, and that's that there is a Thundercats movie in the works by Warner Brothers.
Okay. Animated, I assume?
Yeah, animated, and by the director of the same person who just did Godzilla vs. Kong.
Okay, so they know that they can do nostalgia well.
That's
So
apparently what they're aiming for, is a full reboot nostalgia trip.
Okay.
I'm getting from the article that I read.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much the last decade, though. I don't know where we fit right now with reboots and such, because I mean, there's a lot of them coming out still. And I mean, television series definitely, like, there's been a lot. So,
but what's weird to me is Thundercats. They sort of already did a reboot series, and it didn't really
didn't
lift off.
So, yeah.
Was it maybe too? They did change a lot, but it still had a lot of similar vibes. So
I don't know. We probably just got beaten up by like She-Ra, Voltron.
yeah. Which also, there's that Masters of the Universe animated series. The She-Ra writers are doing that.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna like pull those universes together.
I think so. So I don't know if you watched all of She-Ra yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to spoil anything for people watching, but there is points where I'm like, these are totally story threads that they can turn into Masters of the Universe later.
I thought that as well, because I mean, like, there's a lot of, especially when they start doing the space stuff.
Yeah, exactly, because there's like rebel forces and stuff all over the universe fighting that they don't touch on. They like sort of bring it up and then leave. And it's like, I wonder if this is a thread for future like storylines in alternate places.
Yeah, it was also weird because I mean, like, the new lore is very like takes good bits and pieces of the old lore and makes them canon still, but then is like, nah, that's just stupid 80s. That just ignore that. Come on. So
yeah, well, I think they cut the correct bits, to be fair.
Yeah, no, agreed. Like the butthurt from like fans from that age is like, your rose-tinted goggles are quite opaque at the moment, and you need to just remove them a little, just see, and then give the new one a chance because it's really good.
Yeah, if you ever want to see a funny video, it's on YouTube. It's something like I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like old She-Ra compared to new She-Ra, and they take a scene from old She-Ra where it like does something ridiculous, like it's one of those really old cartoons that does something insane, and then it does the new scene, and it's like a similar sort of vibe, but they do it like modern storytelling, and it's like, oh, wow, new She-Ra is so much better.
Did you watch the death battle between She-Ra and the main, what's her name? The main villain from Sailor Moon?
Which one?
The woman, the empress of everything, that eventually like rocks up to come and like destroy everything.
No, I've never seen. Is it good?
Yes, no, it's really good. And there they point out just how ridiculous like original She-Ra was, and like she pulled like an entire universe sort of like at a point and moved faster than the speed of light frequently, and it's just like, okay.
She-Ra.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how are you going about fighting the Thundercat?
Thundercats. My. Well, I mean, we've got modern storytelling with the Dragon Cube, so we'll just use that and be like, here you go. This is what it's supposed to be done. This is clearly going to influence and focus them.
So normally nostalgia attacks would be super effective against modern storytelling, but because you happen to have caught that Powerpuff Girl reboot earlier, you have a nostalgia type as well.
Yeah.
So you're actually fine.
It's like dragon types. Nostalgia works super effective against nostalgia, right?
Yeah. Because you just get the bigger nostalgia value, right? And then whoever's got the bigger fan base wins. I don't know.
Something like that, right? Yeah.
I wonder if there's more Thundercats fans or Powerpuff Girls fans.
I would think Powerpuff Girls, because TV was more readily available across the world at that stage.
It was way more widespread than the Saturday morning Thundercats approach. But yeah, okay, so you beat your rival, and he's like, curse you, and like flees. And he's like, I'll try to get stronger. And you start heading on the road, and you're about to come to the next town. there's another wild headline that
Ooh.
just sort of ambushes you from outside a tree. And this is the last headline for today.
I was expecting a youngster with like, I like shorts.
Oh, yeah. A youngster swings out from the tree and says, I like shorts, and immediately duels you. And he throws out a Funko.
Sure.
Because the headline is Funko gets into NFTs by combining physical and digital pop culture products and acquiring a key app.
Okay.
So an NFT, for those who don't know, is a non-fungible token.
Fungible.
Yeah. So it's like a thing with value that doesn't have anything in real life. It's just digitally stored, essentially.
It's a weird one with there because, like, I mean, NFT as a concept and what it's actually used for and everything with there, and having like, okay, well, I can guarantee that this is the real thing always, sort of thing. It's really cool. Having the guy who started Twitter give his first tweet out as an NFT for $40,000 or something. That's a little no.
Mankind, what are you doing?
I know. Apparently today, like the NFT stock just crashed dramatically, and they're in free fall. So yeah, fun times.
Apparently, Funko made a bad investment.
I mean, people will still go for it. To me, like the problem with like NFT art is, unless it's like of the original and like really truly, and not just like, oh well, it's this image of the Mona Lisa and it's the real thing, and I can trace it back undeniably. It just doesn't. And like you can understand there, because I mean there is a certain level of being art appreciation sort of thing, because like I mean, people who buy the art generally aren't putting it in their own places, they're putting it in galleries or putting it in a thing, and like it's just this prestige thing of like, yeah, I own this. So I can understand why it's like caught in there. I don't know if you've also seen John Cleese has horribly ripped into it as well.
No, I haven't.
He's like, yes, I've hired, like, he's like hired a whole bunch of like grads to just write up just random gibberish and make like horrible art for him, and he sold it as NFTs, and he's completely just like being like, whoop, 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 whoop. It's great.
This is ridiculous. I love it.
Yeah, exactly that.
But yeah. So apparently Funko are going to start selling NFTs on this app called Tokenhead.
Okay.
So official Funko NFTs for $9.99. So I can see it being like a digital Funko type collection thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose like it's going to be a thing of like, I've got the digital Funko of this, or like thing of NFT. Like it taps into that market, so it's more to them.
And apparently it's all built on blockchain as well, of course.
Well, yeah, no, that's why it's non-fungible. So
yeah.
Though it's interesting because like NFT power usage is sort of like, it's not as bad as Bitcoin, but it's bad.
Still power usage in an era where we shouldn't be using power frivolously.
No. Can we get the space elevator and like solar ring before we try this stuff, please?
Please double zero us, mankind.
Yes, come on.
We demand double zeroing.
We really do. I forget, like the Japanese were trying to work on a space elevator at some point, and they were like, nah.
I'm sure there's still like various departments.
Yeah, probably.
Trying to figure it out, but it's not an easy puzzle to solve.
Tether and all this nonsense.
They're just resource cost. My God.
Yeah. Just capture some asteroids first. Be fine.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Yeah.
That's also very cheap to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like the two richest people in the world couldn't do it with like half their budget.
Well, I mean, they are building up their space programs to something.
Yeah.
Asteroid Wranglers. I'd watch that show on Netflix.
Oh, that'd be cool, like Snow Truckers, but it's like Asteroid Wranglers.
Yeah.
Going out of space. You have to like add all the sound effects and stuff though.
Oh yeah. Literally the guy in the cockpit making the noises. Clunk.
Oh yeah. Geez, I can't imagine like how scary space, like in that future where we have space travel and like these shuttles and sort of stuff that like just connect up with things. Now, how just nerve-wrackingly eerie, and it must be just have the sound only resonate through the ship. Like, oh, it goes on like the first Dead Space. Oh man, just
well, I was about to ask, have you played Space Engineers?
A little.
It's sort of
I've watched more than
as
played.
well. Yeah, it's actually come a long way as a game.
Like some like planet side stuff and everything like that. It's interesting.
Okay, yeah. So you beat I Like Shorts guy, and you start heading into the next town, and that's where we'll put a pin in this adventure for today. Save game. Bloop 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 blink.
What's the second town though? What's the
yeah. Well, we'll only find out next episode.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Something to look forward to.
Exactly. But yeah, that's Wild News Headline.
Hooray!
The roller coaster that is news headlines.
Indeed. If you have any awesome news headlines for us before the next episode goes live, do drop them in our socials. I will be on the lookout for them. Otherwise, we'll be free to share ours as well. It'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, always looking for good news, especially if it's interesting news.
Yeah, and weird and fantastical, like crab gates. Crab gates are weird.
That was a cool research paper, and it's a whole full research paper. I don't know if that's
just like cool. We're gonna make a biological person. That just works.
Yep. For the viewers who don't know, someone wrote a whole research paper on how to use crabs as a logic gate. And yes, the answer is you can run Doom on them if you have enough crabs.
Yes.
So yes, and train them obviously.
The true source of everything.
Indeed. So yeah, that's the end of news headlines.
Indeed.
Which will bring us around to our main section.
Can you imagine a new jingle here? Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just going to be talking about some of the stuff that we found interesting in the last little bit. Things we've been playing or reading or watching or etc. And this is where, in future, if we do have a guest or etc., this might be yet again our usual main topic. So look out for when we kidnap Gregg again. Not this Gregg. Comic Gregg.
The other Gregg. Artist Gregg. Inferior number of G's Gregg, and he knows. He's yeah, okay. So it's been a while.
It has. It really has. It's almost like there was a whole year that some or other big event stopped things from happening.
I don't know what it was, but something stopped us and is stopping us right now from recording in person.
That's true. That's true.
It's giving us a Twitch stream instead. So you're welcome, Twitch. You're welcome.
That's true.
So yeah, I'll start off with something interesting that I stumbled upon in my adventures on the internet. And that is, have you heard of Project Nisei at all?
No, I have not.
So I don't know if you remember Android Netrunner, the card game.
Yes.
Okay, and you remember it's a living card game, and they ceased supporting it.
Like 2 years ago now?
Yeah, 2 years ago, Fantasy Flight, I think it was.
It was Fantasy Flight, yeah.
Yeah, they made the call that it just wasn't sustainable or something, and they released the last expansions, which are now apparently like worth gold because they only made a limited run of them, and somebody bought them all up and put them on eBay.
Yeah, well, of course they did.
So they're now all worth.
We know this.
Thousands of dollars, ridiculously. But Project Nisei has somehow, they haven't acquired the rights, but what they've done is they've taken all the rules from Android Netrunner and they've relaunched it as its own game. So its own rules of its own system, and they've reworked all the art, so they've got their own artists and everything.
Okay.
So it's not IP infringing. If their cards just happen to have the same underlying mechanics as a certain net running game.
So are they still going to have you will know it's this corp, but it's just not called this corp, or is it going to be like completely new sort of like thing in there?
So I think they're using the same corp names. I haven't looked too deeply into it. I've just kind of stumbled across it recently. I know they've got free to play versions of all the cards that you can print out and play, and they built a new starter set because obviously the game became quite big.
It did. It was
over the
a number of
years.
years, yeah.
And the barrier for entry was quite difficult because you didn't know where to start. Except for maybe there was the starter set, but it was so outdated compared to all the new sets.
Yeah.
You couldn't really start playing with just the starter set, ironically. But they've released a new starter set just recently, and that's how it popped up on my radar. Is Project Nisei releases a starter set? I'm like, what is Project Nisei?
Nice, yeah. Well, so then they're like, because it's just like, oh yeah, that ice, it's so outdated.
Yeah.
Who would use this?
Yeah, that's the starter ice. Nobody uses that anymore. But yeah, so I've always loved the concept of Netrunner, but never gotten into it because
it'd be a good digital card game, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I
think it'd be great.
Kind of crawling out for it. It's supposed to be a problem with it's just asymmetric sort of like way that it's a cool gimmick, but it's also at the same time a bit difficult to kind of grab people in. It's like, okay, well, how do I do this competitively at a tournament? You know, what factor determines who's going to be the runner and who's going to be the corp and how many times, and, with all that.
Yeah, I think there's underlying rules to determine that, and I think you go back and forth.
You do, but like it's a bit a bit of a weird one because also the games aren't quick. That's another problem with it. It's no Magic, and even Magic games can be a bit like long sometimes, depending on the color combos.
I play my Tolarian Academy. No, yeah. So I'm certainly interested to give it a go, especially if there's a good TTS module for it or something.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, they always are.
Because they seem to be like pushing the whole, it's digital now and anyone can play. Yeah. So
that's actually interesting because like the project that I've been working on at work, we've had like a heavy mathematical section to it where there's a lot of like linear algebra and a lot of like other sort of calculations that you kind of put in. And INSO met like the mathematicians that kind of do it for the industry, and they're all over Britain. So like, we've had to fly them out to kind of be like, okay, well, this is how we're trying to do it. Do you agree? Do you not? Well, this is the optimizer we want to use and all that. And got to chatting to them one evening, and their son is one of the head like mechanics designers for Netrunner. So I have no doubt that they like are part of this sort of like thing there. So next time that they're out here, or next time I get like contact, I'm like, hey, so
you say, because I know some of the original people are involved, but I don't know who. Sort of was in the article that I originally read about it.
Okay.
And I've looked at the website, and it seems pretty sharp, and the art looks pretty good as well. The new art they're using.
That's cool. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of digital artists out there who could do with work at the moment. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. COVID.
Check it out. Nisei.net, I think. NISEI.net. If you're a fan of Android Netrunner and missed the boat.
Yeah, we'll give it a look. Oh, like just thinking about there, it's like I don't know if you saw like what's all happening, like because like L5R also like they shut it down.
I didn't hear that. Yeah, I got the
last
vibe.
set got released. Yeah, so the final set is going to be the like, hey, it's the Shadowlands finally. It's a PvE one, so like there's a Shadowlands deck. It's very much similar to what they did at the end of the CCG, where they had those like mastermind sort of things when you played against the stuff, and it's not even Day of Thunder stuff yet. It's like the Onis like coming across the wall sort of stuff and kind of defending the land and etc. Got some interesting mechanics like they like corrupt your guys and it's like you have to give them honor or stuff. And it seems kind of interesting. But yeah, last set it's kind of a bit sad. So I was expecting more. They just sort of hit like the story stride because the Scorpion clan coup is happening, and it's not even really them doing it. It's kind of like all the other clans propagandaing it. It's great, but I liked the sort of shape that they did towards the end of it because the coup didn't really happen. Like it wasn't a deliberate thing. It just happened when one of the heirs killed the emperor, and then the other one ran away. And then no one was in power, and old what's his name? Shoju like takes over, and everyone's like, "You can't take over," and he does because he's the chancellor and he's supposed to. And he gets like accidentally framed for everything that happens by Kachiko's interference because she goes off on another tangent instead of like letting it go. And if she had just let it happen, it would have been fine. And yeah, so there's all sorts of weird stuff there. It was kind of cool. I enjoyed the writing and such. I hope that the writing and the RPG continue, because that's at least, I mean, the RPG's outsourced anyway at the moment. So let's just hope the license kind of sits there and kind of lives for a bit. But I suppose we'll see.
Yeah, I suppose we'll wait and see. And if it's going to be so hard to get hold of the last set, are you going to try and get hold of it? Keeping up with the set?
I haven't, so I'd have to get like all the other sets and stuff. A lot of people have started selling their stuff on eBay though, but I'm like, import all sorts. Just you.
It's not really worth it because nobody will play it, right? So
yeah, exactly. No one's gonna play it here anyway. So I mean, like,
yeah,
exactly. There's CTS and there's Chigoku. So let's play through those two. And I think that's going to lead to support. I mean, like, there's a lot of leagues already there where they've got like their own band list and their own sort of things with there. But I mean, there's a lot of mechanics that they just couldn't program into their program that they were making for it at a stage. So yeah, but yeah, there's a couple of like competitions. So there's a creative writing like competition at the moment. There's like some dress up contests. There's a vote where to see who's actually going to fight for Kumanori at the end. It's been whittled down to, at the moment, it's between Yoritomo and the guy who had become Taka versus like Yakuni and one of the other like celestial guys who's actually got like, I've got the blood of whatever in me. So it was interesting though, like Chagatai got beaten by Yoritomo like earlier, and like Taka took down like the Lion Clan champion and all sorts. So it's like, well, this is interesting.
So yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like otherwise, I don't know if you've seen that the last cut for Disco Elysium got released this week.
I did see. I don't know how much has like changed or been added or anything. I don't
Everything is voice acted. Everything, every line, even your internal dialogue. It's great.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, I've played a little bit on a new playthrough again. It's been a lot of fun, and they've also got some extra quests as well. So there's now like an extra quest for your political, ideological like sort of thing. Like goes like, well, you want to be a communist? Well, then let's make you a communist. Or you want to be a centrist? Let's reinforce this. So there's a couple of things that are through from that. I think also there's a few other little extra things all over the show, but it's also interesting because like they've got like button press dialogue changes. You can change the language that you're in, and like I think most of the languages are voice acted as well. So that I think is definitely worth a look. If you haven't played it before, please do. It's amazing.
Even I'm seriously considering replaying it because
Yes.
that was literally probably my best RPG in the last few years.
Yeah, no, easily. And I mean, like, there's so much other stuff too. Because I mean, like, I like reading other people's experiences through Reddit. I was playing a like smart empath character, like more on the empath side. So like, there's a lot of like people stuff that I unlocked, but like not enough knowledge stuff. And like knowing what's the thing called? The gray, like the mist sort of like thing. What was it called again? Like their version of the void kind of thing that's like encroaching on you, like, and you're always like thinking of it like, oh, it's this like metaphysical kind of idea, and like, no, it's actually happening that the world has this grey stuff that just eats away at the time of everything, and no one knows where it comes from. So yeah, there's a lot of like really weird and interesting and weird and wacky things that are just all part of it, and that world is so well built up and imagined. I'm very much looking forward to future, like. I don't know if they like. There's rumors of them doing a sequel, but you don't play as Harry. But
but they'd still write a cool character because Harry's.
But I mean, it's also going to be interesting because, like they've said, because they imply that while Harry has his own thought box and his own like sort of things there, because I mean, like esprit de corps it's a police thing, visual calculus is not something you're going to necessarily do, it's something else, but they imply that other people have different checks and different things in their heads. So when you play in a different game, you might have a completely different set of things across your attributes to like kind of put points into, which I think would be really cool.
Yeah, it's a cool idea. Yeah, I'd happily play it, even if it was on the other side of the world. Just those riders. Mwah.
Yeah.
A good game. Check it out, Disco Elysium on Steam.
Yeah, it was on sale like not too long ago. It goes on sale quite frequently at the moment, and even then, it's like 200 grand. Like,
yeah, it's worth
go
it.
for it.
Worth every penny. Yeah, no, it's good. Good game. Takes time to play though.
It does, but I mean, like, like you can do it in little bits because you can be like, okay, I'm investigating this, do this, and then you can be like, okay, I've got my tasks out of the way. I think I know what I'm going to do next, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Although I binged it.
Yeah, I was about to say, so you can do it in bits if you've played through it before, but if you're playing it for the first time, you're just going to sit down and play through it because that's what happens to me.
Yeah. You'd be like, I also just loved it, like just like the little things, like that door, the door that's got like an impossible check to do. You can make an impossible check, but doing so is not good.
Yeah,
just love that, and like that failing was such an integral part of actually getting through that game, and like you're encouraged to just do stuff because you never know.
Yeah, no. Often failing gets you a far more entertaining part to take. So failing is an important part of that game, which is great. Sign of a good RPG, I guess.
Yeah, very much so. Just don't fail at shooting down the body in the backyard.
So apparently there's an achievement for just not investigating the body at all ever.
Yes, it's been added in. It's been added in. Solve the case without touching the body, without even going to the body. It's like, okay, but like that means you don't need Kuno. There's a whole bunch of things there. But I'd love to play like, just like a like shivers like skill sort of like thing there, and just like, let's just gut feel it, we don't need to see the body. I know what's going on here. The city will tell me.
Yeah. Well, the problem with that game is the second you try and min-max anything. So the first time I ever played, I think I maxed logic or something because I was like, cool, I'll min-max a little.
Yes, my and then logic was just like, I've done everything.
And then I immediately died in the first scene.
No. My favorite was there. It's just like that scene where you meet the manager of the dock workers, and he puts you in the uncomfortable chair. And if you do just mental stuff, your health is so low that the uncomfortableness of the chair kills you.
I literally died to my tie.
Oh, when you tried to pull it down.
Yeah, I killed myself trying to get my tie down.
Lovely.
Like that. More balanced character.
Yeah.
But yeah. Speaking of time and not having any, I've been spending all of my time on Infinity.
Yeah, it seems so.
But I've been having great fun playing it. It is now at the top of my wargaming hierarchy.
Oh, nice. So
definitely hard fought itself up there. And I literally, the other day, I was playing a game of 40k against I can't remember who it was. It was one of the local fellas.
Someone there, yeah.
And I was actually getting frustrated with the game because I couldn't react to things.
Yeah. I was like, okay, you do your turn, I'll do my turn. Okay.
Yeah. So like in Infinity, it's such a reactive game that you're always playing,
Yes.
As opposed to 40k, where literally he was walking whole people in front of my army, and I was like, I can't. I just have to punch.
We'll shoot the next turn.
You couldn't even dodge out the way,
Yeah.
But yeah, so Infinity, there's a lot of online leagues for those who don't know. I'm sure you know, Dale.
Yeah, I've like seen like I don't know how many like now, and just like local WhatsApp groups, like sort of like going on about like the various ones. So
yeah, so there was a local league, the Pokemasters League, coincidentally, Pokemon themed, where everyone was given a random faction that they've never played before. Because it was on TTS, right? So you could just be like
models. I've always wanted to play that tag that like no one has.
Yeah, exactly. So that was good fun. That's wrapping up now this week.
Okay.
And then the Vol League is also wrapping up this week, where my team came second. So
nice.
That was quite fun. I was playing Hakkaslam, which are like sort of the Dune Spice Lords.
Yes, yeah.
/ super doctors and super soldiers. But that was quite fun because it was like a narrative league, and everyone like teams up in their teams together, and then they like discuss strategies and stuff together. You build quite a camaraderie with your fellow teammates as you're trying to figure out how to beat your opponents. And
that's
like
cool.
the crazy Russian team all played like the Space Monkeys. Morats, and they look kind of like monkeys, so they're called the Space Monkeys. So all the Russians joined that team and played monkeys. It's good fun.
Lovely. I think that's interesting because I mean, like, there's a few of the sort of Corvus Belli like narrative campaigns that influence how they do their storylines as well. Was that one of them, or was this just an internal like sort of like narrative?
So this was run by Vol SC, who's an Australian, or maybe New Zealand. I don't know. One of those down under places.
Solidarity with our Southern Hemisphere companions, Greg.
And he actually specifically distances himself from Corvus Belli because he likes to. He adds his own like house rules and stuff, which are quite cool.
Yeah.
Like you, this whole campaign, we had a special character that joined our army, and you could like unlock army points for him, so you'd gain like metachemistry and stuff. So you get a random ability every game. You could do cool fluff things in the missions, and it would unlock more points for your team. So and Hakislam came first, I'll have you know, in the narrative points section because we were obsessed with getting like as much narrative as possible.
Nice.
So that was good fun. And yeah, so Corvus Belli actually hasn't done much narrative league wise.
I mean, I doubt they want to because like anything that's like on TTS is kind of like, well, we want you to know our models, not play our system, you know? Because I mean, their system's free, isn't it?
So it's interesting. Yeah, their rules are entirely free, and they've got a full supported wiki of all their rules, which is entirely free, and their army builder is entirely free. And they've never officially said like, hey, go and play on TTS. But there's a thing called the 3D Miniatures Project where you scan miniatures, which is also another side project I've been doing. It's quite fun, using photographs, and you can put them in TTS. So you get a model.
Yeah.
And they've given a whole bunch of them to that project, you know, like and said, here. And they use those assets to make their promotional videos now. So if you view, there's like the new military orders stuff came out, and they made a battle report with it, and the entire battle report's done with those assets in Unity. So it's quite cool. I mean, it's a completely like mad battle report that's like played by Sky madmen, but it's still fun to watch.
Nice. Well, I mean, that sounds good. I haven't like done proper wargaming this entire time. I think the last was when we last played like 40k. So that's a while now.
Yeah, that was on TTS as well.
Yeah, exactly. And like painting and sort of stuff wise, like I'm missing a couple of paints, or at least missing good quality versions of those paints because my pots are like down to the last bits or etc. So I just haven't been painting.
Yeah,
but I think on my side I'm still very 40k, like watching all the battle reports and reading as many books and kind of stuff as I can. But yeah.
I mean, I've still been keeping up with 40k, and I still watch Tabletop Titans are great. I know you watch them as well.
Yeah.
They're certainly my go-to, but there are a few others that are quite good.
Tabletop Tactics as well.
Yeah,
they're pretty good. They're a bit set in their ways with certain things, and like they don't necessarily go too ultra competitive in their things. But I think that's just what we see from their preview. So
but I've also noticed Tabletop Titans have also pulled it back a little bit as well to match the armies better. Just so that they don't have like slaughters on one side or the other.
They do that, but I mean, like they also kind of like they will occasionally just be like, okay, guys, we're just bringing our hard lists. We're just going to show you what we think is the best in both of these, and just go for it. Drukhari look nasty.
Yeah, the new Drukhari Codex does look very interesting because I have that Drukhari force that I built up 2 years ago now in the slow grow.
Wow. Yeah.
So I've been tempted to expand on them, but haven't quite. I want to like sink my teeth into it and really understand where it's going.
Incubi. That's
yeah,
where it's going.
They're very good.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, I mean, like them and like succubi are just so ridiculous. Like my word.
yeah, so I might
Um,
lean more into the succubi just because I have quite a lot of them.
mm.
Because I normally play with things when they're out of favor.
You know,
Uh,
the problem is it's like it's the succubus is good. The
mm,
witches are like they're good because they can clear chaff, but they're not
mm,
necessarily gonna beat the current Space Marines off of their
mm,
thing. But
that's true.
they'll rinse through other stuff. And even
Yeah.
Space Marines, like I think they've got this new rule on a lot of their units, and I think the witches get it, which is when they roll sixes, their damage goes up by +1 on the
Mm,
2 wounds. So you're like, oh, well, cool, 2 wound Space Marine. Yeah.
not for witches.
Yeah, and the witches have like AP -1 on like all their weapons now. So
Mm, yeah. Oof, that'll
it's
go a long way for them.
yeah, it's like AP -1 and an extra attack on like every weapon. It's like, oh,
Mm,
okay, this is pretty nasty.
good buff.
And a couple of other cool little things. Dark Lancers are all like D3+3 now instead of D6.
Mm, mm. It's definitely where
All
they seem to
same
be going.
things.
Mm. And one other army I've been seriously considering expanding ever since Tabletop Titans actually unboxed their Scions.
Oh yes,
I've always loved my Scions. Like I even brought them to competitive events in the before
four
time.
times. Yes.
But with Scions and Custodies together, and I really love my Scions. So I'm very tempted to just get like with one extra box or two, I would have a whole Scions force.
Yeah.
So it's very tempting. Because they do look fun to play, like as their own army.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait for like to me, it kind of feels like they're suffering from edition lag.
Mm,
So
yeah, but aren't all factions except the new ones like?
there's some more than others. Some more than
Yeah, well,
others.
yeah. Talk to me about Gene Stealer cults.
And our poor greater good.
Yeah, and Portao. Yeah, I mean, I tried to get Gene Stealer cults working in a TTS game, but it just and well, actually, I won it, so I can't complain, I guess. But
Yeah, it's difficult.
so
You
I
have to
had to
like be
jump through,
aware so much of the time and just doing everything.
and I had to cheese it, and I still ended the game with like nothing left on the board, but just like from playing the objectives I won.
I mean, that's what I have to be doing in this edition. So,
It's true. It's true.
uh,
Mm.
oh, I was thinking like new stuff and stuff. Like you see in the box for Warhammer Quest.
Warhammer Quest is
Oh,
interesting, but I've resisted so far.
like I'm pretty much like I want that box as soon as I see a local price. It's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
expensive though. It's like $200, so like 3 grand.
But it's got a lot of stuff in it. That
It
box
does. It
is
does.
chunky.
It is. It's a chunky box, and
Mm.
that's why I'm like kind of like, oh, that's all right. I mean, like it's similar to Blackstone Fortress because I mean that's another Warhammer
Mm.
Quest, so
Mm-hmm.
it's very
Yeah.
much in line. And I mean, Blackstone Fortress got support, like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
decent support.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think like it's similar for the new Warhammer Quest. It's going to be like similar. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, and then just like the models are really cool.
They're really cool
And
models.
when I just paint them all, it's like
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, even just as a board game, it'll be really cool.
No, and that's exactly the thing. And it's like these are all. I mean, it's old world as well, so they don't really even fit into Sigmar.
Hmm. Oh, yeah, that's true. And they're
Mm.
coming out with Old World or whatever it's called.
Yes, like that's like next year though.
Yeah, so
If
not
even
really.
it might be delayed due to last year.
Yeah, due to the Great Plague.
Yeah, yeah. Well, was it a neural plot?
Yeah,
I mean, that was the first sign of the end times for the old world. So,
it's true. Oh dear. Mm.
yeah,
Uh,
they all just need to look out for the twin-tailed comet in the sky.
hmm. Yeah, if anyone sees a twin tail comet, oh no, look out my back window there.
Then,
There's two dots.
oh
I
no!
don't actually know what
Yeah,
those two dots are.
I think it's a reflection of your front lights, Greg.
Ah, that's what they are.
Yeah. No, like I think that's going to be like an interesting one. You've seen like the new Total Warhammer because it's
Mm.
based in the end times as well, which I
Hmm.
think is going to be an interesting one to see.
Yeah, yeah. I
Like
like the old Total War
like
game.
they kind of did that in like the last game though, because like they had that campaign where everyone was trying to get to the
Warfare
center.
magic in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. So that was very close to the end time stuff. But I mean, if they do the proper end times and they kind of hit all the notes of the different factions, But I mean, it seems like it's more focused on just that initial invasion of, Nurgle into, what was it? Oh, wasn't even. What were they called again? The faction.
The Hedonites of Slanesh?
No. The good guys. The Sigma
Oh,
worshippers from that stage. Was the Kingdom?
you mean just like, well, they didn't have any
Kingdom
like
peoples.
Sigmarines. They just
No, they
had.
didn't. But the Karl Franz's nation.
Yeah. The free cities or whatever they're called.
Old World.
Yeah. The city was
Empire.
called.
Just Empire, wasn't it?
Damn it! I played the MMO of this for years, and I can't remember the name of the capital. Altdorf was the name of the capital.
Yes, yeah. That place and that all. I think they're
Those
just
guys.
there.
Yeah. They were called something generic like
An Empire. I'm sure it was Empire.
Yeah, it was Empire. That's it.
Yeah.
It was literally just Empire.
Just Empire.
Yeah.
And the Bretonnians. Empire and Bretonnians.
Yeah, Bretonnians. I actually backed a Kickstarter of Bretonnian 3D print assets.
Okay.
So I could print a whole Bretonnian army if I wanted.
Woo, free guild.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like, if they do the whole, there is like Bretonnian rules in Sigma.
For the free people, like they're
free people. There's like an actual Bretonnian book.
Really?
Yeah, but it's not called Bretonia. It's called just like
Night people.
Or it's like it's just under order or something silly. Like I remember looking up rules when I backed the Kickstarter. I was like, this is quite interesting. I'd enjoy playing it. Like, but it's a lot to print an entire army. It takes a while, and the resin's expensive.
Yeah. Interesting to see at least like there was a Sigma tournament like just the other week. So I mean, there's interest in it again, which is good to see.
Yeah.
Although like my list is like 800 points is just Marathi. So
woo. Yeah, well, what was interesting to me is when I looked at the roster of the factions that played, no one played Chaos.
Yeah, just
no
odd.
Chaos,
I mean, like
no
no Hedonites, no demons. Which, yeah, I mean, like Tzeentch is still super overpowered in that system. So,
well, I mean, I probably would have taken Tzeentch if I went. No, actually, I probably would have taken Ogres.
What do you mean? You get dice that are set at the start of the game, and you can just put a 6 and make it a double 6 over that guy. Yeah, that's just the Tzeentch way just planned.
Just does plan.
Just yeah. I wonder if they'll do something similar in 40k for like Tzeentch.
Or even for Thousand Suns or something. I could see them doing that.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be potent for 1,000 Suns. I mean, like we already got kind of there with the Faith dice and the Miracle dice that the
exactly. It's literally what
so
those are. So they've got a precedent.
They do.
But yeah, okay. So that's 40Ks and stuff. What have you been watching lately?
I don't know. The Good Place. Season 4 finally released on Netflix. So finally watched it.
Actually, I can't remember.
No.
I'll have to check, but I might be up.
So there's so many spoilers for that show.
Yeah, you gotta be
season 1, and like they went to season 2 or season 3. Yeah. Season 4 was good though. Like they ended very well. Had like good concept stuff. And they also approached not only the place that they were in, but the other place. Keep it vague. And Snowpiercer as well.
Sorry?
And Snowpiercer.
Oh, Snowpiercer. I keep meaning to watch that, but I haven't gotten around to it. Is it worth it?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay.
Especially when Sean Bean arrives in season 2.
Okay.
But it's good. Like, it's interesting because I don't know if you've watched the movie.
No.
So the movie is like a bit more fast-paced, meaning that it has to tell a story in an hour and a half sort of thing, not like 20 episodes or more now. And yeah, like it's interesting because in the second season, like the first season, they were like here and there some callbacks to it, but it was quite a different thing. And then by the time they hit like the second season, there's like, again, they're like, we'll just throw in this little thing from the movie and this little thing from the movie, etc. It was also interesting because like the characters and I had the debate with Fish about it. It's just like giving alignments to a lot of the characters in the show, and many of the protagonists are evil. So it's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I must give it a watch. Is it on like Netflix or anything?
Netflix. Yeah, it's on Netflix. The second season just finished, so you can now binge it. It's one of those Netflix shows that they were like, okay, well, it's being released in America on, I forget which channel, but because of that, it was weekly, so you go and watch it, one episode and then wait. But that's fine. I enjoy sometimes with the shows like that. So
yeah, like I've been watching Invincible. I don't know if you've watched any of it yet.
I have not. No, I've heard that it's like The Boys but better.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Same vibe, maybe a little bit different, but it's animated for a start, which is different.
Yeah.
But I've been enjoying it. It's only on episode 4 so far, and it's weekly, every Friday. And it's on Prime currently, Amazon Prime. And I've been really enjoying it. So when you watch the first episode, I like watched through the first episode. I'm like this is a show I could probably watch. And then you get to the end of the first episode, and there's like stingers after the credits and stuff. You're gonna be very careful about, because there's like, I think there was double stingers in the first episode.
Oh, wow.
And by the end of all of that, I was like, yep, this is a show I'm watching.
Okay,
so
fair enough.
Yeah.
Something to look up with it.
Yeah, it's well worth the watch. So far. I've enjoyed every episode. So
nice.
And is Falcon and Winter Soldier is weekly as well.
Haven't watched that. Like I haven't got to that all WandaVision yet. Like,
okay, yeah. Well, definitely WandaVision first.
Yeah,
that was great. No spoilers, but worth the watch.
I've synopsized WandaVision because I was like, I'm watching it. Oh, I need to know this. Damn you and your MCU. Oh, why is it all connected?
Yeah, pretty much.
I was glad when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of just got like ignored. They were like, nah. They're in an alternate timeline now. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Although, do you think with Loki and it being all time travel stuff that they'll like just have an episode with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. rock up?
Probably.
Be like, hey, yeah, we need to kill you all now. What?
Sorry. Apparently, there's a new trailer for Loki out.
It is
today.
Yeah, there was like yesterday. Like Nerdist did a good breakdown of it. I kind of tied it into like what's in the comics, etc. So
okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, looks interesting. It gives me very like, I don't know. Like, have you played Control?
I have it, but I have not played it yet. But it's on my list.
Oh, it's so good. You should. It's amazing. Yeah. But it reminds me very much of like the Bureau of Control, but time traveling.
There's a very cool song on YouTube by Stupendium about Control. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
I'll give you a link after the episode, and you must watch it. Like, he's done a marvelous job. This is what made me buy Control. Was listening to the song. But he does great lyrics for all games. So that man's a wizard with lyrical videos.
Okay, well, that's cool. Control's very good, very good. Like, as any sort of sci-fi Alan Wake fan, play.
Yeah, gives interesting vibes. I'm surprised there's not like people doing lots of playthroughs of it or anything. I haven't seen anyone like that I follow.
Control's old now. It's like 2 years. So it came out on Epic Games Store, like originally. Only recently came out on Steam.
Yeah, I think that was the issue for me. Was I was like, it's not on Steam. I'll get it.
Like, I'm quite like scared about it. Like, Epic Games Store sent out like a survey thing today, and like a lot of the questions were like, "How important are exclusives to you?" And they're like, kind of like, "I think you guys are going about this in the wrong way, guys. I don't want to have exclusivity. I can choose my platform and I can play with my friends."
Exactly.
You get the wrong vibe. I like that you've got exclusives, but I don't like, need it.
I don't like having different clients on my machine, each managing different things. Just put it all on, guys.
That's why the GOG launcher is quite good for that, but it's still a pain. It's still a pain. It's like, okay, just Discord for everything communication. GOG for launching, something like that. But yeah. But yes, it's a good game. JC Cox did a good playthrough of it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he would. His name's the same name as the protagonist, so it's like, yeah.
Well, I plan on playing it now, so I'm not going to watch a playthrough. But sometimes it's nice if you're like, I'm never going to get around to playing this game, so I'll just have it on the background as a playthrough whilst I paint or something.
It's nice as well because it's like some videos of the Scary Game Squad, just going into like the lore and stuff behind it, and kind of deep diving into some of the things, which is quite cool. Because it gets really weird in just everywhere. Like even from the start, it's weird, but in a good way, in a Disco Elysium way,
in a disco way.
Yeah, disco. Yeah, I think that is enough time for us today.
Yeah. So we should probably start rounding things up. I see we don't have any questions in our chat.
Nope. If you do in the future, well, we'll get to them in this period now. Yay!
That's true. You can also email us any questions you have or send us on social media.
Yeah. We
pay attention to
many of them. We haven't got Instagram. We should do something about that. I don't
know. I even use Instagram for myself. But if you want to run a go to Instagram, go ahead.
Catch us on the socials, etc. Let us know what you thought of the first episode. Let us know what you'd like to hear in the future from us. Let us know if the format changes, good, bad, something in the middle. Who knows? We're here to listen and continue on our semi-new streak of things. Yes.
Yeah, we're here to listen to you listening to us.
Yes. Right. That's getting very Camino there. Don't believe in us. Believe in the listeners who are believing in the podcast.
Don't listen to us. Listen to you listening to us.
Yes.
Listening to you listening to us.
Yes. Ours podcast will break the heavens.
Sound barrier?
Yes, something like that. Anyways.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
We'll catch you around another time.
Cheerio.
Bye.